I remind people all the time, you never win the race you don't start. And so just because you don't see somebody in that role who looks like you doesn't mean you can't do that role just as well or even better perhaps than somebody else is doing it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Powercast here at AASA in New Orleans. I am your host, Rick Fernandez, alongside my Power School colleague and California former Superintendent Jeff Pelzel. And to round out our event, you know I had to bring the best from Texas. We had to represent. Jeff and I have had this little competition going on to see who has the strongest leaders. And I hate to do it to you, to bring the ringer.
And you are, Rick. Let's get real. I already know this. I watched the last podcast. You're bringing in the 5-star blue chip recruit.
Oh,
we got to do what we got to do.
No pressure.
No pressure. So without further ado, our guest, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Martha Salazar-Zamora, the best, proud superintendent, Tomball ISD. She is the best in the business.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Absolutely. And we're going to jump right in. So Jeff, let's get after it.
Well, the thing that just struck me the last time I watched the podcast with you with Rick is your vision setting and your focus on instructional leadership and really, really your focus on students. So, thinking ahead, like as you're planning ahead, I want to know right away, like, where are you heading in Tomball around these next major initiatives from the lens of that superintendent? Because you're an innovator, so share some insights so that people can, honestly, they're going to beg, borrow, and steal these ideas because you're always leading the way.
So I love that first question because I think as a superintendent, you can't live in today. And you certainly can't live in what happened yesterday. You have to look in the future. And the future isn't just tomorrow. It is years ahead because some of these things obviously take time. They take money. They take effort. Yep. They take planning. And we know that sometimes even the best laid foundation, things can shift and you have to shift with it. And so what does the future look like? The future is very bright, although there are a lot of challenges that we're facing. And that's okay because educators, we know how to do hard well, right? And this isn't the first time we've had some challenges. But if we focus on what the future can bring in the area of, let's say, innovation, because I think that's our main topic here today, I think we do have to be much more innovative. All of us, not just a few of us, not just a handful. Whether you've heard that person, listened to the podcast, read that book, sat in on a presentation like here at this great AASA conference, you have to become more than just somebody who sits on the sidelines and waits and watches to see what will happen. What will AI bring? When do I bring this in? I think I'd have to lead with where we last were with Power School. So proud to be one of the first again, where we had trains, Tomball Roundtable of AI Summit Initiative. We brought multiple school districts together in the state of Texas as we continue to plan what does an AI, maybe virtual reality hub in Texas or in other states look like. I was very fortunate through AASA to be able to visit Dreamscapes at Arizona State University, and that's where a seed was planted. And again, as a superintendent, as a leader in Texas, of course, we plan ahead. I know California probably does too, but in Texas,
we try.
Yeah, I know.
But you might succeed.
Hey, right now we're just all trying to make it happen. But because I was afforded that opportunity, I went. But as all true leaders, you kind of stop and look and listen, and then it's, okay, now what do I do? Not wasted any time. Took a team, went once, but twice, not just once, but twice, to Phoenix, Arizona, Dreamscapes at Arizona State University to look at what could, as I'm building schools in a fast growth district of Tomball, as we're passing bonds and looking at, let's just take a science lab, for example. What does a traditional science lab look like? And what could it look like if I offered the opportunity through virtual reality and then AI in merging those together where our kids are able to have an opportunity in a science lab experience of virtual reality in the belly of a whale, suddenly looking at cancer cells and identifying, think of a child who really didn't feel that passion and spark for science suddenly waking up, and then utilizing AI tools to write something transformative at whatever age that might be. So that's the student, right? what excites me about the future is what we can do to help our teachers, because we know we need the brightest and the best, and we know they're not all just jumping into our boat, right? It's
Right.
That's
hard
right.
when you're fishing. It's hard to catch
Yep.
the big whale, the big shark, and so we want to get the people that are transformative, that are those type of thinkers in Texas, and of course the other states as well. But we want them to come, and we want them to love what they do. Krista McCullough said before her ill-fated Challenger mission, "I touch the future, I teach." Let us never forget that. Education is the profession, she continued to say. Education is a profession that makes all other professions possible. And at times we forget about that because educators aren't lifted up and loved and endeared as they should be. But we as superintendents, as leaders, as communities need to remember how important they are and the role that they play. So when we look at innovation, we're utilizing many more tools, many of which we heard from here at this conference and in other platforms. And there are too many to list, and I would leave some friends out. But ensuring that we afford our teachers, whether they're at baby steps or whether they're experienced or whether they're super confident, with AI tools to make their jobs easier. Let's face it, we're preparing kids for jobs that we still don't know exist, right?
Oh,
They
for
may
sure.
be tweaked. Traditional jobs have somewhat gone by the wayside. We have some jobs that we're now getting used to and those that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
So we have to be on our toes to make sure that we are ready for what that next looks like, but all the while not forgetting to keep obviously our school boards and our community aware through something like the Power School sponsored trains event in Tomball, so that people don't fear. There's a lot of fear
That's
in
right.
the unknown, so that they're a part of it. They understand what we're doing it and why we're doing it. This is our future collectively. It's not just those that have the power. We all have the ability to learn and become better in what we do, our craft of educating the future. In the US of A, we educate over 50 million children and counting. They depend on us each and every day, no matter what is happening in
That's
any
right.
other part. They want to know that we can provide them what innovative opportunities they will need for their unknown futures in their unknown jobs.
Yeah, I was at an AI summit last week.
Oh, great.
And last week and last Saturday, and they were saying that, it's interesting how much it's already evolved,
Right.
but they're saying we're just at the very, very infancy.
We really are. We
And
really are.
that's,
It's
you
exciting,
think
though.
about how much has shifted in that. And I love the example you gave with the science lab,
Uh-huh.
but I also wonder, even as we're thinking about that, isn't it hard to think, what will that be? Even if we plan for something from 5 years from now, what might it be like
Right.
actually 10 years from now, because it's evolving so quickly.
You're
And the
right.
different forms of AI that are out there.
Right. And making sure that we're careful because, right, just because you're an early adopter, which really we're not anymore, but just because it's there doesn't make it good. So making sure that we're utilizing what is good and safe and following all those things that we should. I want to share something that came to mind when you asked that question. I have 2 children. I always have to talk about them, and 2 grandchildren. Why am I telling you this? They live in Europe. They live in a country that very much celebrates multi-language, multilingual,
Yes.
bicultural, biliterate,
Yeah.
bilingual. And so my 5-year-old granddaughter speaks English, Italian, Spanish, and is learning Mandarin in her school. But it's embraced and it's celebrated. So what happens to me? I don't speak all those languages. I speak English and Spanish, and I'm trying to get Italian. But through the beauty of putting on, I wish I had glasses,
Yeah.
right? Just putting on some glasses, I too can communicate with either one of them easier through a tool on my phone, through a tool on my iPad or my computer. The world is brighter because of the tools that we can utilize, and we will be better connected and hopefully better understand each other because of the tools. We just have to be bold enough to go out there and just use them and expect others to do that too. Lead by
Absolutely.
example as school superintendents, as leaders. I think it's our responsibility.
As we're talking about teachers, a thought occurred to me. If the pipeline in traditional universities and alternative certifications are really going in an inverse direction, where there's less coming out of the university, and I think we're going to continue to see more either non-certified or alternatively certified teachers. What does that mean for how we train and support and coach and mentor? Does that look different in our should we be thinking about this type of teacher is going to need different levels of support? They may still be very, very talented with either making connections or what have you, but just thinking through, they're going to need, just like individualizing for a student,
Sure.
we start individualizing like as soon as a teacher signs that contract.
So, I think traditional Dr. Z would definitely tell you, I really think you have to have a certificated person in every classroom, right? That I've had to
Yes.
look at that. Okay, Martha, is that practical? Is that even something? Is that even the best practice? So in Texas, and I know other states may have this, we have the District of Innovation. It's a state opportunity upon application where you can have certain non-certificated people in certain positions, and we do that in our aviation, where we teach children. They can leave high school and sit for their pilot's license. Aviation mechanics, whether it's so we have a pilot, right, teaching that class. We have a chef teaching our culinary
A judge.
arts. We have a judge,
That's so awesome.
an attorney that's actually teaching our students, and we just held court again. Our kids were a
saw
part
that.
of student court. I just love it. It's so exciting. All of that through, I think the CTE lens has lent itself to that for some time. But what about others? I think that we're going to have to look at individuals that do have expertise. But remember, let's never forget the heart of what we do, teaching and learning.
Yeah.
They have to understand the pedagogy. If we are going to have them instruct certain courses, or perhaps be interventionalists or specialists where they can help the teachers in areas so that students are fully embraced and immersed and understand the power of the tools that they're now being able to utilize at just the tip of their hands. Long are the days where I had to sit and create a speech or even a presentation. I can merge my ideas and instantaneously have that and send it to 10 people to even vet and review. It's really, to me, about a time saver. It's my words, it's my thoughts, but morphed in a way that I can choose or not choose, and then still personalize. And that's one simple way, right? There's so many different things that we can
Do you
use.
feel like that gives you more reach as a leader? The level of efficiency, if you can do things and engage and quickly, collect thoughts, collect messaging, does that give you a different level of reach?
Well, sure. And think about things we do in school districts traditionally, right? Whether it's bond facilities, whether it's strategic planning, just bringing people in, our realtors, our faith-based people. We can bring people in and, again, synthesize their ideas, their thoughts, and share with them, this is collectively what we're looking
I
at.
didn't think of that.
And pivot maybe based on, okay, maybe this is not exactly what we're thinking of or where we thought we were going to get. I want to go back to your teacher question, though, because when we think of the brightest and the best, it's one thing to recruit. We always want to recruit, but it's also important to retain.
Yes.
And I think our teachers, the beauty of what innovative thinking is like, and we'll use AI since that we've kind of gone down that pathway. I love the fact that you can have a first-year teacher, or you can have a veteran maybe on the brink of retirement, be equally as excited and able to utilize the tools that innovative practices can provide in changing the lives of children, regardless. So that connection doesn't know an age; it doesn't know years of service,
That's
and I
right.
think that's magical.
When you think about, because we're talking about AI, like, can you think of a problem specifically right now in your district that you wish AI could solve? If there's one thing that just stands out for you.
Okay, so I think there are many, many problems. We have a traditional calendar. We have a very traditional calendar in Tomball, and we have a committee that meets like most districts, right? And it's teachers and administrators. And some of our districts have gone to more non-traditional calendars and given them days off at different times. And we've always had a really, really very safe, very high attendance rate, but I've seen a bit of a dip. And in a time where every dollar counts, we know attendance can be an issue. One of the
Well,
things,
you're an ADA state, just like
Yes.
California.
Yeah,
I
there
know
we
we
go.
share that in
We
common.
share that in common. And so one of the concerns that I have is it because our neighboring districts are able to just go to Disney for a week at a random time, and it's not spring break, and it's not Easter, and it's not Thanksgiving or Christmas? And I'm not sure if that's the case. So that's coming to mind right now, because I realize we could actually save a large amount of money. It's not even about the money. I mean, the money matters, right? But it's about the fact that my kids are losing valuable instruction. And I don't want that to happen. Not that whatever experience they're having with their families isn't important, because it truly is. I just want them to experience that on a day we don't have school. That's all.
You talked a little bit about like planning for a strategic plan or bond, and
Yes.
you mentioned the need to evolve. Are we going to get to a place where AI can take your strategic plan and instead of a 3-year or 5-year?
Yeah, we actually did that. I'm the president of the Texas Council of Women's School Executives, TCWSC. It's our 40th year in existence. And we wrote our strategic plan during a Leadership U opportunity last summer using just AI.
No way.
Now, it was in multiple iterations. I was like, hey, we don't have the time. We don't have the money for a facilitator, but we have the power right here. And that's what we did. It was magical.
Yeah,
and it's quite good.
I think about it. If you could, I'm just thinking right now, you could feed all your data.
Sure.
into your with your existing plan into
Absolutely.
AI.
Absolutely.
What results have come of that, and then make recommendations. And the beauty of it, then you're cleaning up and going, yeah, that fits with us.
It's multiple, right? So you
Right.
get iterations, like
Yes.
everything. Okay, I like this. I don't really like that. I like this. I don't know about that. No, squelch that. That's not good. So then you merge, and then you feed it back in again and look at it and decide, is this, because you can like bits and pieces, but do you like the whole body? Maybe not. And so if it's not the whole body the body whole that you were
Yeah, you
expecting,
tweak.
then you continue to tweak. But we did a process that would have cost 35,000. I don't know. It depends. That would have taken meetings upon meetings upon meetings. Now I will tell you, we did come with some homework. We all had to come with certain areas and ideas and to have a starting point. But that's the first time I've ever used that for an actual association strategic plan. Super proud of it. Yep, saved us money, time, and I am, I'm proud to be the president of our first AI strategic plan.
That's crazy.
I'm just curious. Who are your mentors? You are so dynamic as a leader. I sense
sweet.
it. I feel it. Your passion, it just oozes out of you.
Where is she from again? I didn't catch that first part of it.
I already
starts
know.
with a T.
Okay,
just
yeah,
just checking.
But I
know
have
this.
done some consulting work over the years in California, but
Well,
my heart is
she
is
felt
with
bad.
Texas.
She felt
you
bad
know?
for you guys.
It's okay. It's okay. One of my closest colleagues is in Texas now, and
Awesome.
Dr. Gutierrez, I
Oh,
love and
he's
adore
the
her.
best.
Yeah,
she.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's Dr. Gutierrez that we met yesterday on our
Matthew.
podcast, Matthew, and then there's Jennifer,
Oh.
who is in, I think, Northeast ISD or something like that. And she's
Gonna
a
have
deputy.
to meet her.
Yeah,
It's a small state, we
it
kind
is.
of all know each other.
Yeah, I know. But where did your passion is it from your family, your parents? Who are your mentors?
Yeah.
Because there's something special about you have. I always say this with certain people. They have it, which you don't get a coach it.
Okay.
So where did your it come from?
Okay, so I don't know, but I'm going to tell you that I had a very tenacious, still have, my mother, 91 years old. But I will tell you that I was born severely, profoundly deaf. And at the age of 17, I know that usually shocks people because I talk a lot. And maybe why I talk so fast, I don't know. But now I can hear, so it's just that I want to say a lot really fast. I had an ossicular chain implant at the age of 17, right? And had a lot of therapy and, work in between from here to there. But what my mother taught me at a very young age at a Texas public school district, that she reminded me to never let my disability ever be my inability. And so that just having to work harder, having to make sure that, your voice was heard, and that in a community that didn't have leaders that looked like me, although the community looked like me. It's a great story because I went on later to become their first Latina superintendent in that very same school district years later, which made me super
And that's
proud.
just like Dr. Gutierrez yesterday, the first Latino superintendent in his district. Crazy.
Yeah. So that was in Keensville, and of course now leading again. I've been the first in often because I think part of it is opportunities, and sometimes people not seeing themselves in that role. I remind people all the time, you never win the race you don't start. And so just because you don't see somebody in that role who looks like you doesn't mean you can't do that role just as well or even better perhaps than somebody else is doing it. So I don't know what an it factor is, except that this is my 39th year. I've been doing this a long time.
Wow.
I love it.
You started at 7?
Yeah. Thank you for doing the math.
Oh, here we go.
My new Californian friend. I love
Yes.
him. But honestly, at some point I'll have to say, okay, this is, we all have that date where you have to say, okay, I don't know when that is yet because I love what I do. I don't wake up thinking, oh, I have to do this. I wake up thinking I get to do this, and how lucky am I? And if people who are leading school districts in any state don't get up feeling like that, then they need to rethink it. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. We are battling things federally at the state level with politics and funding concerns, but ultimately we get to educate. In Texas, 5.5 million children, and in the USA, over 50 million. What a blessing that is.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. And I know before we go,
Okay.
because he's done this to me on every podcast with people that I know.
I feel like it's fair, right?
I've known Rick a long time.
I want to know
He's
some
a little
dirt.
naughty.
What's some dirt on him?
Oh,
I want a
God.
story.
Oh, boy.
I want to hear some because this
Okay.
guy, he is so likable. But
Okay.
there's got to be something.
Okay, so his favorite song.
Oh,
Song. REO Speedwagon.
Here we go.
Can't Fight This Feeling. That's his.
Really?
No.
No.
He found out it was my husband and it was our song. That used to be a thing. I've been married for 36 years. So let me tell you what this guy did. On our anniversary one year, we went to lunch and I got a vinyl REO Speedwagon. Like, how cool is that?
Oh my gosh.
So I liked him already, but then, love stepped in. I was like, I love this guy. He's a great
right?
friend. Super
Very
thoughtful. Super proud of him. He was on my cabinet for years, went on to be a great superintendent in a community, and now is able to affect so many educators through what he's doing with Power School. Super proud of Rick Fernandez. He's a true friend.
Thank you. I learned a lot. I mean, so much, and still learning every day. And because I want our national audience to get the understanding of how much scoreboard we actually have. So can you just share just a little of some of your awards? I know I always embarrass you. Please, just
really, Rick?
Yeah.
Well, I was fortunate to be the Texas Superintendent of the Year in 2023, and then last year I was up on stage here as a national finalist. Only one of 3 from Texas. I'm the first female to ever be a finalist from Texas for the national award, and very honored at the Houston level and from various associations. But it's really not about that.
It's not.
It really isn't. It's when I look back one day, when I decide this is enough, I will remember that I bought an oil and gas company and turned it into an incredible
That's a
CTE
whole other story.
facility.
You got to hear it.
Oh yeah, making money, rent to an oil and gas company. Let me just say, it was valued at now it's valued at about $420 million. Bought it for $37 million. It is now an incredible CTE facility. As I mentioned, aviation, cybersecurity, legal services, law enforcement, and the list goes on. We have our P-Tech there, our early college there, where 100% of our kids are graduating. It's not just a promise, it's a true belief and practice that if you come to our early college, our kids are walking across that stage with 60 college credit hours free to their family. We're blessed to get to do what we do as school superintendents. No, not every day is great, and everybody certainly doesn't love us, but that's okay. As long as you love what you do and continue to love the kids, then you'll make a difference in the lives of children forevermore.
And I asked her to share that, not because I'm trying to put her on the spot, but because regardless of all of that, always answers a text, always is there if you need help and advice, always there for just to pick you up, to check in on you for a birthday, for your spouse's birthday. And she's got more stuff going on than the president.
You have to just focus on people, because it is about relationships. I mean, we're relationship builders. We are those people.
The it factor. You just love people.
I do.
That's real. That's real.
Not everyone. There's a list. It's short, but I won't list it today. That's the next podcast.
Okay. But just so thankful for everything and thankful that you got to spend time.
Honestly, I feel honored because to sit here next to you and talk to you, because I watched that podcast and I went like, she's a sister from another life for me. I just listening to you, I'm like,
I love that.
That's the kind of leader. When I didn't retire. I chose to step away because my Y had grown and I wanted to be able to similar. And now I have a colleague who I get to collaborate with and engage in these conversations. And so I just admire you. And after we're done, I need to get your autograph so I can save that, because it's going to be worth money someday down the road. And anyway, it's totally an honor to be able to have this conversation with you.
I am so glad to spend some time with you, and I love the work that you guys are doing with Power School. We're happy to partner with you, but it really is because I know you believe in what we're doing. Yes. And if we've had challenges, you've helped us find a way to make what we do easier and better for our kids.
We love that.
We'll always do. We'll always be there. I mean, that's our mission. Yeah. We want to make sure all kids are successful, regardless of the position or the company or public or we just want to help. That's what we want to do. So I think it's fair to say that Texas wins this round. We'll see at the next conference if California can make a surge, a little bit of a push to get back in the game. Thank you all for joining us. And if you like what you heard and saw, share, subscribe. And if you're looking for a district in Texas, there's not a better one to pick than Tomball ISD. Join us next time on the Powercast.